Hi Flosstube, it's Lynn, the Canadian Stitcher, back for my weekly update. Things have been changed around in this room a little bit, so I'm further from that wall and I'm also a little bit further from the camera the way things are set up. It's not perfect yet, I've got some work to do in here, so we'll get there. So hello, welcome. Welcome to my new subscribers and to anybody else who's coming back to watch another video. This week I'm going to be doing an update of the progress that I've made in the past week, plans for this week coming up, and a couple of other little things to show you. So I did go to the thrift store. We have Value Village in St. Albert, and I did pick up a couple of little bargains. I got they have a package of Mill Hills, like a combo pack of Mill Hill seed beads. So I got 1, 2, 3, these are full, 4, 5, 6 packages of Mill Hill seed beads, just a little container of some other green beads, and then this container, which is broken, but there's some other seed beads in here, and then some other little bicones. So total price $3.99. So I thought that was a really good little deal. You have to really hunt around in that store. There's one little area that's the craft section, and those beads were hidden in behind something else, and yeah, but I did find them, and I thought that was pretty good, $3.99 for that many packages. And I got the Victorian sampler, Jingle Bells Christmas Tree Farm, which I thought was really pretty. I've never seen this one. I think this will be nice done up as a Christmas picture, but also there's little features in it, like that little deer there, that could be made into just like a single ornament. So there was that chart, and it came with a piece of fabric. It's a Zygarde 28 count, 24 by 27 cashel linen and light mocha. I'm not sure. I'd have to take a closer look at this and see if this is actually a fabric that I would want to stitch on or not. I think maybe that blue one that I'm having trouble on with the angel is also a Zygarde. So if not, still, it was $5.99 for the fabric and the pattern, so even if I give away the fabric, it was still a pretty good price for that little pattern. So, and then I got a little book, 2001 Cross Stitch Designs, Better Homes and Gardens. So this one has lots of different themes in it, like there'll be Halloween, there's Valentine's Day. I'm not going to flip through the whole book, but just to give you an idea. There's Christmas ones. So these would be nice for fingertip towels or for individual ornaments too. So yeah. And the books at Value Village, I think, are $1.99. So that was a really good price for that little book too. This week I've been watching. I didn't get as much stitching time in as I wanted to because I was doing my garden too. So it took me 2 days. And I got all my planting done. I only have a container garden. I don't plant in flower beds, but I did my container garden, and I have flower bags and hanging baskets. I will do a little video, just a short little video, and give you a garden tour, because I not only plant flowers, but I also decorate around in my garden with different little figurines and stuff that are really cute. So you might be interested in seeing that. But when I have been sitting down to stitch, I've been watching Crafty Lisa, Crafty Cat Stitcher, and Cross My Stitches. I'm working my way through the C's of the people that I'm subscribed to. And what I try to do is I try to watch 3 of their older ones and then 1 of their newer ones, so that eventually I can be caught right up to date. That's the way I've been working at, but there's a lot of videos. Such good information, such good videos though. A non-Flosstuber that I've been watching, and I've heard other people talk about her, but her name is Caitlin Doty, and her channel is called Ask a Mortician, and she really is a mortician. Her channel is, you have to see it to understand what it is and why anybody would say go watch a mortician. She's very, very interesting. She has a lot of different topics that she talks about. She's informative, and she's always funny. Just the way she says things and little animation things that she does. She was trying to demonstrate some particular type of crypt. And so she made one out of plasticine, and then she put up at the top, "Don't say anything, I made this myself." And she used Tic Tacs to demonstrate the bones of it. And it was just, oh, she's just so funny. And I also found some other organizing and minimalizing channels on YouTube. One is called Clutter Clarity, and another one is called Clutter Fairy. And I listen to those. I use them as motivation to get going, keep going, and get things, doing the decluttering in my house, room by room, and getting rid of as much stuff as I can that I'm no longer using. I don't want it anymore. It's just taking up space. And yeah, so I did last week. I had done my laundry room, which is also kind of a little storage room. I did the pantry, and in this past week then, I did the entire kitchen. So I thought maybe I was going to end up having to do the kitchen one cupboard per day, or however. Once I got at it, I just went through it, and there was quite a bit that I got rid of. A lot of it was older pots and pans and things, and I don't bake anymore. I'm on a very restricted diet, and so I don't bake. So there was baking pans, pie plates, cake plates, stuff like that. I'm not going to use these anymore. There was lots of stuff in the cupboards that was just taking up space. So I did get rid of quite a bit, and the kitchen is very, very tidy. I also clear off the countertop for the most part. There's only the microwave and my knife block and my dish soap, basically, on my kitchen counters now. It's really, really cleared. And that's the way I like it. It's like nothing on the surfaces. So questions and comments. Last week I did get quite a few comments about the new setup that I had in my living room. So thank you for commenting. And I don't think it was last week, it might have been the week before. I had a question of what kind of glue I use when I make my needle minders. And so originally I had been using this one, the Gorilla Glue, which dries instantly. This is messy though. It dries instantly, but it doesn't hold as well either. Some of my magnets have since come off from needle minders that I made with that. So I am now using the E6000. I got this at Michael's. This one smells really bad. It's very, very strong smelling. And you have to wait for it to dry. So it's neater than the Gorilla Glue because it's thicker. I would suggest taking a bit of it onto the end of a little paintbrush and painting it onto whatever it is that you're going to glue, so that you have better control of where it goes. It doesn't run a whole lot, but if you put it gob down and you didn't get it in exactly the right spot, it's very difficult to try and move it. You could also use a toothpick just to help put the glue in the correct spot. And this one has a really strong hold. This one holds really, really good. I found the name. I showed this little thing. I had forgotten what the name of it was. This is called a trolley needle thread controller. So it goes on I put it either on my middle finger, like that, or on my index finger as I'm stitching. And I lay my hand down onto my stitching, and then as I come up, I wrap it over top of the end of this. It's like a laying tool for the threads, so that the threads lay down side by side. So then when I looked at it, I thought, well, that's just basically a ring with a big darning needle on it. So I made two of my own. These little rings were hard to find though when I was a jewelry maker. I had a hard time finding these little rings. I wanted to make some with some raw gemstones and stuff. But anyway, so what I did, this little ring, and then I used my E6000 glue, and I stuck a darning needle onto there, and same idea, just slips onto the finger. So I wanted to have an extra one of these for at work, and also one for my stitching itchy spot upstairs. Another little gadget that I came up with a use for. So I have seen other people, they have the little wands, like mascara wands, but I think they actually have a name and they might be more shorter than this. But I just am using, it's not, I don't think it's an old mascara wand. I think it's like a trial, like one, a single use one. So when I was working on the Discovery one, because there's so much dark in it, and Lucy, my white cat, was getting a lot of hair, like that. There's fine little hairs that are just sort of on the fabric. Whenever I can, I have my tweezers and I pull them out, but what I'm using this for is I'll kind of just comb the stitches that are already there, and then I go in a different direction. And then it picks up any of the hair that's left on there, or some of it anyway, a good majority of it. But then I was finding it was really hard to get these little cat hairs out of the mascara wand. So in my decluttering, I used to have long, very long hair and hairbrushes, and this tool here is a hairbrush cleaner. So what you would do is just rake this through the hairbrush and it just gathers up all the hair, so you don't have to sit there and pick hair out. So same idea. I just use my hairbrush cleaner, and I just clean the little mascara wand. And then it gets all the cat hair out of it. So I thought that was a cool idea. I'm surprised I didn't throw this away in my earlier decluttering when I only have one little hairbrush now, but anyway. The other thing I'm doing that I came up with, since I use the tweezers, when I'm stitching, I notice that there's a cat hair. It's hard sometimes to grab it with my nails, so I have tweezers with me all the time, and then I just gently grab onto, if there's a hair on the fabric, I just grab onto the cat hair and just pull it off. I find when I'm working on the dark one, the Discovery one, I'm having to use it so often, and I end up usually putting it beside me, and then it falls in the couch cushions. And so what I did is I just stuck a little magnetic, this is a little magnetic clip. Just have these on my fridge. I just stuck that on my Grand Guard, put a little magnet on it, and then I just drop my tweezers on there. And then as I'm stitching, I just reach for my tweezers and just put them back. It's so much easier than having to reach across to the other side. So that was another little thing that I came up with. On to the stitching, finally. The goose, the Christmas goose. I finished the stitching. I just have to do the back stitching. See that? Yeah, so he turned out okay. I had to change the feet. The feet in the picture, they show that it's got some gray or something in there. And for some reason, when I look at that, I actually get nauseated when I look at those feet. I don't know why that bothers me so much. So I just stitched them all black. I'm just going to back stitch around them. And I don't think people are going to really look at that and then look at the feet. The focus of the pieces up in the goose with the wreath. But I didn't like the feet. So I just have to back stitch on that one. I'm going to probably take that one back to work and work on that one on my lunch breaks again this week, and hopefully be able to get the back stitching done on that one and get that one out of here. So Discovery, I gotta adjust my chair. Discovery. This is my Heaven and Earth design. Discovery. So I worked on her. When I showed it last week, I said I only have this little tiny bit left of the page to do, and I was planning on getting that finished and starting the next page. I forgot there's a little bit at the bottom yet. There's a partial page at the bottom. So I had to do this, and then I filled in the rest of this. So I did finish the page. I am counting the partial page as being a part of the other page, so I'm counting that as one page finish. And I can actually start, I'm starting to see that this is looking like an actual picture now. So going from over here, this is her pocket. You can see the pillars in the background. And this bottom part in here, that's the shadow on the wall, the shadow of her arm. And then this part up here is the bottom of her arm, just her elbow in there. This is coming across really, really red on the camera. It's more of a brown and rust and not so much red as that is. But so if you can see, I've done her pocket all across here. I guess to the bottom of her elbow, and then there's her shadow. So I think that's cool now that I can actually see. I didn't think I'd actually be able to see any detail or anything of the picture until I got much further up, like onto her shirt and that, but it's nice to be able to see that the picture's developing. So that was a week's worth in between the gardening and everything else. And then Angel of Summer I worked on also. Yeah, no, I'll talk about the thing first and then I'll show you. So Tina, Simply in Stitches, she's working on Angel of Summer. And last week, I apologize, I kept calling her the Angel of Spring. Over and over and over. Angel of Spring, Angel of Spring. She's not. She is the Angel of Summer. Which kind of goes with the theme of this one, because I actually call her the Angel of Mistakes. Because there is many mistakes in this picture. I don't think anybody would ever look at it and go, oh, there's a mistake right there. It's just, you know, you're off one stitch, you got the wrong color here, something like that. It's her face is perfect, the bird is perfect. It's just in the garland and some one little spot in her dress and up in her wing a little bit. There's just some mistakes in there, and if I pick up on them right away, I'll correct them. But if it's too far gone, I just work around them, and then I eventually forget about them. You don't even remember them. So Tina in Simply in Stitches is working on the Angel of Summer and the Celtic Spring. And she's really close to being finished, her Angel of Summer. So when she saw mine last week, she asked me if I would like to race to the end with her. So, of course I said yes, because this is what I'm focusing on finishing this summer. Whether I'll finish it in June, I don't know. But, she said that that's going to be her focus project for the month of June. And she is further along on it than I am, and she's working on Ada. So she says that she's cheating a bit, but it's not really. So I'm going to work on her. I'm not going to work on her exclusively. I'm going to keep doing my weekly rotation. But what I'm changing with her is that I'm going to work on her a little bit every day. So what I've been doing, so I'll show you where I'm at. I need something behind this. I don't know if that's going to work. So I'm working on her dress. I'm working all in here. So what I do is I do one full thread's worth of stitches of one color for one whole length of thread. Then I go over here and I do one color in the garland. And if it's a color from the garland that goes down into this sash or into the dress, then I continue on until I've used up that whole thread. I find the garland is very, very tedious to do, so that's how I prefer to do it. I do one bit here and then go do one bit here, one bit here. So I've made really good progress on the garland. There is more garland that comes across her dress. I don't know if I have her picture here. I don't. This one, my printer was running out of ink when I copied it. So, yeah, so this is where I'm at. So there is some, it's a little bit different garland that runs across her dress here. There's a little bit here and a little bit here left to do. So I've basically got this bit in here to do. So I think if I continue, if I work on her a little bit every day, keeping up that one full thread, do a bit of the garland, I should be able to make some pretty decent progress on it. And then if I get closer to where I'm looking like, you know, if I worked on her for a week solid, I'd get it finished. I'll just push it through to the end and just bump something else out of my rotation just to see if I can win the race with Tina. So she says she's going to post her video next Friday. So that's Tina, and her channel name is Simply in Stitches if you're not watching her already. So she said she's going to post her video on Friday, and she came up with a hashtag name for it. And I recently signed up on Instagram, but then I forgot about it, and I have to figure out how to do it. I need to sit down and spend some time to figure out how to use Instagram. So she is going to do it, and we're going to do it as a hashtag. And so after her video, then I'll talk about it a bit more once because I just sent her an email back again, so I don't have her response yet. So we still have to coordinate a couple of little things. But the gist of it is that we're doing Race to the Finish on Angel of Summer by the month of June, end of June. Yeah, I think that's it. Right. So I showed you my beat up pattern last week. Yikes. So scissor fob of the week, I did a agate, a blue agate. I also have a needle minder that matches that one. Oops, my needle's stuck on it. Needle minder, and then I have the scissor fob, and then I found these on 1-2-3 Stitch, and of course I forgot to write down what the name of them was. They call them thread needle pushers or something like that. In the accessories section, I was kind of scrolling through there and just looking at what different little gadgets that they have, and they have these. They're bright color, like they're all brightly colored. So if you're interested, 1-2-3 Stitch has these, and I believe they call them needle pushers or something like that. Oh, and then I just have a little purse hanging on there. The other fabric that I got for the next 3 angels in the series, I told you I'm going to be doing them on Aida. And so I got Twilight Blue Aida 25 by 36 inch. I'm hoping this is the right size. So just comparing the colors there. Oops. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. If I do the 3 of them on the Aida and I don't like the way this one looks, I think I could ever stitch that whole thing again. Honestly, it's gonna be what it is. One of them's gonna be on linen and 3 of them are gonna be on Aida. With a slightly different color, but that's okay. They're for my house. They're not for a museum or, you know, contest or anything like that. They're to hang up in my house, and I'm gonna enjoy them. Okay. So I was gonna do a new start for June 1st, but since today's Monday, I'm gonna do a new start today and call it my June 1st start. So this is the Albera de Valentino Alessandra Adelaide Needle Arts, and that's that tree. So this is the one I dyed my own fabric for, first time. Attempted to dye my own fabric. So it came out sort of a mottled purple, which is good for what I want this for. I'm going to start on the tree part of it. And I selected color number 433 from DMC to go with this. It's going to be kind of a subtle blend into there. So I don't know if anybody's ever had this problem, but I took my chart to a copy store, and I prefer to have a single sheet, large copy, than to have a couple of pieces and try to tape them together or work with multiple pieces. So I went up to the copy center and I handed her the pattern and I said I would like 3 enlarged copies of this, and she said no. And I said, excuse me? And she goes, no. Copy centers have been getting into trouble for copying patterns and then having people sell them. And I go, well, I'm not selling them. I'm going to be stitching this twice, so I need 2 copies. And I would also like an extra copy just in case I make a mistake on one of these and I don't have to come back and get another copy made. So she turned around to the other girl that was working there, the girl normally that I deal with and is wonderful and is always very polite, and she said, are you okay with this? Are you okay with me photocopying these, making 3 copies of this for this person? And she was like, yes. Like, she knows me. She knows I'm a cross stitcher. She's asked me. I've taken stuff in there. She goes, what is this? Like, and I show her and I tell her what I do with them and stuff. And it was a really odd interaction. She was very, very rude, this salesperson. Like, rude in the way she was speaking to me. Just rude that she would just say, no, I'm not copying those for you. It was just weird. And then when she went to copy them, she came back and she literally threw them onto the counter and said something about them being irregular sizes and such and such and such. And I just like, calm down. It's my pattern. I can cut part of it off, or you can just put, like, you don't have to just put it right up to the edge of where the printing is. Like, she just was like being very, very unprofessional. So I actually went then over to the manager's desk and asked to speak to the manager because I wanted to talk to him about how rude her behavior was. And they asked me to just wait a minute, and as the minutes ticked, I just kept getting more and more upset, so I left the store. But I did take his card, and I haven't contacted them yet. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has had an experience with a copy center refusing to copy a pattern. I believe, and I don't know where I heard it from, I'm not a copyright lawyer. If you are a copyright lawyer and you know the copyright laws in Canada and can tell me, am I allowed? I think I should be. I've paid for the pattern. I want to make myself a working copy because this is what my patterns end up looking like. Ugh, this is terrible. Like, they're ripped. Sometimes like in this one, I had to recopy a section because it had been folded and refolded so many times that the symbols were actually worn off of it. So I want a working copy. Is there anything wrong with doing that? I'm not selling them. I know maybe asking for 3 copies was something that she wasn't used to, but my intention is to stitch this one twice. Once to do a new kind of project with it, and I want to stitch it again the way it's charted as the tree. If I get halfway through one of the, if I get through a large section of this and I find out that I've made a great big huge mistake, that I've highlighted it out already, and I have to rip all those stitches, then I switch to a fresh copy to start stitching, to start it again, to start marking them again. That's only happened to me maybe 1 or 2 times that I've marked all over my working copy and then went, I have to rip a whole bunch out, and then it was hard to keep track. So that's why 3 copies, so I have a spare. I said to her also, and I don't think that I should have to tell her any of this, but I said if I don't use the 3rd copy, I will shred it. Like, I'm not doing something illegal. I just was really offended by her attitude, and so I don't know if you've ever had an experience like that, or if you know in anything about copyright law. Are we allowed to make a copy for our own personal use, to mark on, write on, do whatever we want on? I don't know. I do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think if I couldn't do that, I'd be more reluctant to not cross stitch, because it would just be a deterrent to me, I think, if I couldn't do it the way I want to do it, which is mark up my copies, write all over them, and you know, it's a big yucky mess at the end, and it feels good to throw it in the garbage. So if you know anything about that, leave a comment below, or if you know a source of information about that. And I know that probably in every different country the copyright laws are going to be different. That's why I'm saying copyright in Canada, because, or what, I don't know how that works either. Copyright laws from different countries, so I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to be starting on the tree, and then if you've made it this far and you didn't turn off at my rant, sorry for my rant, I'm doing a surprise giveaway. So I'm going to give away this Teresa Wenzler Egyptian sampler. I really like Egyptian history, and I saw this on 123 Stitch. I didn't know anything about Teresa Wenzler at the time when I bought it. I just thought that's a really cool Egyptian picture. I'd like to make that, and I got it. And Teresa Wenzler is a phenomenal artist, but this is far beyond what I would want to do for stitching. Lots of specialty stitches. She does lots of blends, blended threads, which is not something that I like. There's some details in this also where you, like the face is done separately because there's so much detail in it. So if you are not intimidated, I would say I'm intimidated by this. If you're not intimidated by this and you want to take on a challenge, or if you really enjoy doing Teresa Wenzler projects, leave a comment below. Just say I'd like to stitch the Egyptian sampler, and I'll do a random drawing in my next video, and I'll mail this out to the winner. I'm not trying to put her down or put this down at all. This is just beyond my talent. And like I said, I don't like blended threads. I don't mind a little bit of blending here or there to add a little detail to a picture, but when almost every thread is blended, it's too much for me. And there's lots of specialty stitches. Eyelets, diagonal satin, stitch blocks, partial eyelets. Yeah, so yeah, if you want this chart, just leave me a comment below and I'll get that in the mail to you. My nail color this week, because this is in my use it up. I have a little bin of nail polishes that I'm trying to use up. This is one of them. This is an OPI. It's just a little mini one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read it. The color name's not on here, but it's NLV116177. I don't know. I just have a little container that, let's get some use out of these and use them up. And then the bracelet this week is another one of mine. This very basic Swarovski crystal 6mm crystal AB for Aurora Borealis. And then the necklace I put on just because I haven't been wearing these ones very often. So this one is same thing. It's the Swarovski crystal. It has a teardrop in the center. And this one, it's the Aurora Borealis again. And these ones I used to make, and we call them the floating necklace or invisible necklace. So I don't know if you can see it, but it is on a very, very fine piece of clear cord. So it looks like it's just floating there. And I had several different designs. I had lots of different colors that I made these ones out of, and not a lot of supplies in them, so they were fairly inexpensive too. People really enjoyed those. So I hope you liked my video this week. Leave a comment if you're interested in the Teresa Wenzler Egyptian sampler, and if you get a chance to watch Tina's video next Friday at Simply in Stitches, and then we'll explain a bit more about what we're doing for our Angel of Summer race to the end for June. Thanks for stopping in, guys. I hope you have a good week. Bye.